If you only know me from my YouTube channel, you might not know that I do a lot of 3D design and printing for my Black Series collection. I do offer all of these files on my Patreon. I wanted to create a really beginner-friendly way for people to get into 3D printing, so I offer a ton of different files, all specifically designed to be really painless to print. And a lot require no paint at all. You just can print these in like brown and gray filament to make this cantina set, or like this 10x4 diorama that, yes, has a sliding door. No paint is required on this at all. You just need white, black, and gray filament. The printers that I use cost about $600, but a lot of people use the Ender 3, which is about $200 to $250. I was using those up to a couple months ago, and I figured it was time to upgrade. Most of my stuff is printed to be paint-free, but I wanted this Falcon diorama to be really special, so I got out my airbrush, which wasn't exactly working properly. I don't have access to a private outdoor space, and so I chose to do my airbrushing inside, but you can totally use like rattle spray paint cans outside. I put some dark spots onto the couch here, and then hit it with the base color again to just soften the contrast there. You can see them kind of disappearing, just to make it a lot more subtle. I hand painted a lot of the details or used a silver Sharpie, but I used some raw filament and just heated it up to make these wires here, and then I used some wire loom tubing with a little bit of paint on it, and then I ran some raw filament through the brackets here just to give that wired effect. The walls were a little bit too shiny with that metal spray paint, so I just hit everything with some black. It gives a really nice effect, it doesn't make it too shiny, and it just makes it look like it's worn down over time. Included with these files are lots of crates and barrels that you can print. You can resize them, make a whole bunch of different varieties here, and then there are a ton of other crates and barrels and stuff like that on my Patreon as part of the other file sets that are all included. A couple of the pieces like the cushions and the door and the bed here are printed in beige just to be a little bit easier to paint instead of having to like run a brush neatly along the edge. It gives a really nice clean effect. I printed Han's computer in black here, and then all of the buttons and stuff are raised, so you can either run a silver Sharpie along the edges there or just take a paintbrush and just kind of push that paint around on the surface. I designed Han's chair to have the same principle so that all of those metal raised studs on the back are really easy to hit with a Sharpie. This prints flat on its back, and then the two brown cushions print separately as well as the base, also for easy printing and painting. You saw the sofa cushions before, but they are a separate piece from the base, and then the same principle here, lots of raised surfaces make it really easy to paint. Once you see these up close, you guys can see how sloppy I actually paint, but when you look at it in photos or on your shelf, it looks pretty neat. And because I'm a messy painter, I designed the table to have these little grooves in between each of the colors on the table, so you just spray paint the whole thing silver, and then you take black and just hit every other panel, and it's okay if you go over the lines a little bit because there are gaps so it won't bleed onto the wrong panels. And we can start placing all of our crates now. This is a lot of fun to do. You can mix and match. Again, I just kind of printed random ones out and placed them randomly, but you can do it however you want. Go for more screen accuracy. And then the ceiling has some holes in it, so you can run some lights through whether you want to do some toy photography or just have it as a permanent shelf display. But I think it would be fun to add some little Easter eggs in our display here. This is one of the little pieces that came with Tika the Jawa in the Black Series, and this is from the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike pack. This one here is also from Tika the Jawa, and then we're just going to stick one of the 3D printed pieces in front. And if any of you are printing this, I really want to see you get creative with some of your extra Black Series accessories, such as the Stormtrooper helmet. The Millennium Falcon has tons of stories behind it, so you can just kind of stuff whatever you want in here and have your own headcanon. Let's get some figures in here. This is the SH Figuarts Chewbacca. I'm going to use SH Figuarts for most of these characters just because they have a little bit better articulation at the knees, and I just think they look better overall, at least the A New Hope crew. But I am going to use the Black Series C-3PO here. He's going to go right next to Chewie. Let the Wookiee win. I did have to do a lot of measuring and test printing to make sure that the benches and the tables were all the right height to fit over knees and that sort of thing, but all you need to do is click print. Next, we're going to bring in the Black Series R2. I did weather this up with some Tamiya weathering kits. Pretty easy to do, and it goes on really subtle, so it's pretty hard to overdo it. I really like the Figuarts Ben Kenobi because I think the robe looks really nice and the head sculpt is beautiful. We're going to just set him over on the side here. The Figuarts Han Solo also has better likeness and articulation and paint, just overall a little bit smoother of a figure. I do have to keep his holster so it doesn't pop out. I think the Black Series one is okay, but I think this one's just a little bit better. I changed the hair color on the SH Figuarts Luke Skywalker because it looked just a little bit too shiny and gold before, but we're actually going to use the helmet here with the mask, and that's going to go right onto the neck peg there. We're just going to get him posed up here, and I really like the way that the Figuarts did the training ball effect, where instead of being attached to like a clear peg, it just slides right onto the lightsaber here, and then it just kind of holds itself up. I think it's just a nicer way of doing that effect than the Black Series clear stand. But there you have it, we have all of the figures in our Falcon diorama here. It is ready to go up on the shelf. I want to jump back and show you the detail that I have on display in my 3D print closet. Whenever people come over to the house, it's really difficult to explain to them what I do, so I have this little setup here with like the raw resin print of John Williams as well as the painted version. Then I also have the TVC Cathaba figure that we were trying to imitate with our 6-inch figure here, and then I have the General Lando body, and then also the resin prints there so I can show everyone how this was constructed. And then funny enough, this is actually in my 3D print closet along with all 3 printers, which are working hard right now to make some more hexagon stands that I can use in my shelf series videos, because I gave a lot of the ones that I used away or put them to work in my closet once I expanded that display. I added 2 more shelves to this since the last collection tour video I did, so hit that subscribe button if you are new here and you want to see that collection tour when it goes live. I've added a ton of new figures as well as a lot of customs, so stay tuned for that. And you know what, while I have you here, let's put together one more diorama that I just finished a couple days ago. I'd been figuring out how to take a giant Star Destroyer bridge and turn it into something that could fit inside a detolf. So I created these pieces here hollow so they don't take up too much filament, and they create the catwalk when you put them all together. And I thought the front piece looked a little bit weird sliced like that, so there's an option where you can spin it around and then you have some detail inside in case you want to do like a cross section of the catwalk here. So I initially designed this piece to have the curved Star Destroyer windows like we see here, but I also realized this would work great as the bounty hunter scene. And everything you see here is completely unpainted straight off the printer, and there is no glue needed. And for people that want to display this on a detolf, I wanted to hide the clear glass shelves and put some black floors instead. We're going to put our tech back inside, add some computer pieces. Again, these are all unpainted just to show you how they look. And I designed this chair here specifically to have a little notch in the back that you don't really notice, but when you put the Imperial down on it, his little skirt piece will sit nicely in there, and so it doesn't make him float weirdly above the chair. This is the Andor Trooper with the cape removed, and then an extra Piet and Veers in the background here. We'll have them facing away so we don't see their face, and a little mouse droid on the floor here. Let's do the top shelf now with Darth Vader, Dengar from the Archive line. This is actually a Mafex IG-11 figure with IG-88 accessories from the Black Series, just to give him the right height. The Mafex Boba Fett, also from Empire Strikes Back. The Bosk figure with a little bit of weathering on it, and then the Forlom and Zuckuss, or Zuckuss and Forlom, depending on when you were born. I could talk for a long time about getting into 3D printing, but if it's something that you've thought about, I highly recommend it. There are a ton of resources online, especially like Reddit, that are great for when you're having any issues with the printer. Watch some videos on YouTube, you'd be pretty surprised at how low the bar is to entry. And as a collector, it's so nice to have that novelty of new things for your shelf coming straight from your home for way cheaper than having to go out and buy something. At this point, I've totally lost track of how many file sets that we've done for Patreon. I think it's like in the hundreds. If you have questions about 3D printing, you can leave them below. I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. If you have recommendations for dioramas you'd like to see me tackle next, also please let me know in the comments below. If you want to leave a like, that would help this video out since it's not really my normal content. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you learned something today. I really love doing this stuff, as you can probably tell, and I love talking about it with you guys, so I look forward to that. Here are some other videos from my channel that you might enjoy, and I will see you all next time.